In the heart of Surulere, Lagos, where the scent of fried plantain mingled with the roar of keki napep, lived a quiet orphan named Eden Marks. She was the kind of girl people barely noticed except when she handed over freshly pressed clothes from the tiny laundry where she worked. For Eden, the back corner of that shop wasn't just her workstation. It was her home. A torn mat, a plastic plate, and an old Bible were all she owned. Yet she never complained. "At least I'm not on the streets," she often whispered as she soaked gari in cold water each morning. That Monday, the sky was unusually bright. Eden had just rinsed her face when the bell above the door jingled. A woman in blinding yellow lace strutted in, her perfume announcing her presence before her voice did. They collided. Water splashed. The woman gasped. "Are you blind?" she snapped, eyeing her now wet dress. Eden, startled, stammered, "Ah, I'm sorry, Ma. Please let me clean it." But the woman stepped back with disgust. "Don't touch me, you filthy thing. Do you know how much this lace cost?" Eden's apology fell on deaf ears. The woman stormed into the manager's office, her voice slicing through the morning. "Fire her, or I take my business and my fiancés elsewhere." Mr. Duro, a tired-looking man with sweat-stained collars, stepped out minutes later, eyes averted. "Eden," he said gently, "you've been good, but I can't lose her. You have to go." Eden fell to her knees. "Please, sir, I live here. I have nowhere to go." He shook his head, already retreating into the office. The woman smirked at Eden on her way out, lips curling with triumph. And just like that, Eden was cast into the streets homeless, jobless, and forgotten by the city's noise. Eden wandered aimlessly through the back streets of Surulere, clutching the small polythene bag that held all she owned. The hot Lagos sun bore down on her skin as she passed storefronts, street hawkers, and disinterested pedestrians. By nightfall, her legs ached and her throat was dry, but the city had no mercy to offer. Just when she thought she would collapse by the roadside, she spotted an uncompleted building behind a row of kiosks. No gate, no windows, just gray cement walls rising like skeletons in the dark. She hesitated at first, unsure if it was safe. But with nowhere else to go, she slipped inside. The air was damp and thick with dust. She found a dry corner and laid her wrapper on the cold floor, hugging herself tightly as mosquitoes buzzed around her ears. "God, please," she whispered into the darkness. "I don't want to die." She didn't sleep much that night. Every sound startled her. Every breeze felt like a warning. But the building was better than the streets, and for now, it was home. Morning came with the sound of shovels scraping and male voices echoing through the cement skeleton. Eden sat up quickly to find construction workers pouring in, their helmets bright against the dull surroundings. One of them spotted her. "Hey, who be this?" he asked sharply. Eden stood, trembling. "Please, sir, I'm not here to steal. I just needed a place to sleep. But I can work. I'm strong. Let me help. I'll do anything." The men exchanged looks. Some laughed. "This work no be for woman-o," one said. But another, older worker nodded thoughtfully. "Make she wait for the ogya," he said. "If she get liver to beg, maybe she get liver to work." By mid-morning, a man arrived at the construction site. He was tall, dark-skinned, and sharply dressed for a building project, white shirt tucked into brown chinos, safety boots gleaming. His name was Grant Holloway, the property owner and a rising star in Lagos real estate. The workers quickly approached him, explaining Eden's situation. Grant's eyes narrowed as he looked at the girl standing barefoot in the dust, arms folded tightly across her chest. "So you want to carry cement and blocks?" he asked, voice cool but not unkind. Eden nodded quickly. "Yes, sir. I need to survive. I don't want to steal or beg. Please give me a chance." Grant studied her for a moment, as if trying to read her soul. Finally, he spoke. "You start tomorrow. But listen, if you slack or fall sick, you're gone. We don't have time for pity here." "Yes, sir. I understand." "Thank you, sir," Eden said, bowing slightly. She sat in the corner that evening, watching the workers pack up. The smell of cement, the clang of metal tools, the sweat on every brow, it was all overwhelming. But it sparked something in her she hadn't felt in days. Hope. The next morning, Eden was already waiting before the first mason arrived. Dressed in her only spare wrapper, she began hauling buckets of water, lifting small blocks and mixing cement with her bare hands. The men watched, amused at first, but slowly their laughter faded. "This girl get energy, oh," one of them whispered. "Past some boys way they run away from work." Eden kept at it, her body sore, her fingers bleeding, but her will unshaken. She had lost everything, but maybe, just maybe, she could build something new brick by brick. 1 week into her labor, Eden had become part of the team. She didn't talk much, but she worked harder than anyone else. Her hands were calloused, her back ached, and her skin darkened under the relentless Lagos sun. Still, she never complained. The older men began calling her Iron Lady, and when they shared food under the mango tree nearby, they always saved a portion for her. That day, as they ate, one of the masons nudged Eden and said, "Oga Grant Don come." She turned to see him walking across the site, sunglasses on, holding a file. Grant paused mid-step when he saw Eden carrying 2 cement blocks with ease. Sweat rolled down her temple, but she didn't stop. "Who's that girl?" he asked the site engineer. "The one lifting like a pro." The engineer smiled. "That's the one I told you about, Eden. She begged to work here. No family, no home, but she's the strongest of them all." Grant frowned slightly. "This kind of work isn't for a girl. She could get hurt." "She refused to leave," the engineer added. "Said she'd rather break than beg." After the site inspection, Grant walked up to her. "Eden, right?" She straightened quickly. "Yes, sir." He looked her over, noticing her blistered palms and the determination in her eyes. "You can't continue like this," he said. "This job will break your body. You should stop." Eden's face fell. "Please, sir, don't sack me. I have nowhere else to go." Grant paused, watching her closely. He sighed. "All right, but you'll stop carrying blocks. We'll find something safer for you. Come to my office after work." Eden blinked. "Your office, sir?" "Yes," he said. "You've earned my attention. Let's talk tomorrow." The next morning, Eden bathed with water from a broken pipe behind the site and tied her wrapper tightly. She walked nervously to the address Grant had scribbled on paper, a gated duplex in Lekki with walls painted like sunshine. The gateman, a Yoruba man with a thick accent and wide grin, led her inside. "Oga say make you go wait for AM for parlor." Eden stepped in timidly, staring at the high ceilings and soft leather sofas. Her feet sank into the rug like clouds. She had never seen a house like this in her life. Grant walked in moments later, removing his wristwatch as he smiled faintly. "You made it," he said. "Sit down." Eden sat at the edge of the chair like it might reject her. "I've been thinking," he continued. "You're hardworking, and I respect that. How would you feel working here instead? Helping around the house? It's safer, and I'll pay you better." Eden's eyes widened. "You want me to work here? In this house?" "Yes. You'll have your own room, food and rest days," he said. "But you must follow the rules. Is that okay?" Eden nodded quickly. "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir." Just then a woman descended the stairs wearing a silk robe and a frown. She was tall, sharp-featured, and radiated the kind of wealth Eden had only seen in movies. "Grant, who is this girl?" she asked coldly. "This is Eden. She'll be working here," Grant replied simply. "Working here?" the woman repeated with disbelief. "In this house?" She turned to Eden, her lips curling. "Don't make yourself too comfortable. This house isn't a charity home." Grant exhaled sharply. "Eden, this is Fiona, my fiancé." Eden lowered her eyes. The air grew cold. Something told her this house might not be the safe haven she'd imagined. Eden began her duties in Grant's house the next morning, sweeping, mopping, dusting the bookshelves, and organizing the guest rooms. Though the house was large, she moved quietly, always cautious, always respectful. But Fiona, with her sharp eyes and colder voice, never missed a moment to belittle her. "You missed a spot," she would snap, even when the floor shone like glass. "Didn't they teach you how to clean in the slum?" Eden would murmur a soft, "Sorry, Ma," and keep working, swallowing her pride with every insult. At night, Fiona ensured Eden ate last, if at all. More than once, Eden had to drink water to quiet the gnawing in her belly. But she endured it all. She didn't want to go back to the streets. Then one evening, Grant came home early and found Eden alone in the kitchen, staring at an empty plate. "Have you eaten?" he asked. She hesitated, then said softly, "Madam said there's nothing for me today." Grant's expression darkened. He turned and marched into the living room where Fiona sat painting her nails. "Why are you starving her?" he demanded. Fiona didn't even look up. "She eats what's left. This isn't a hotel, Grant. She works in this house. She deserves proper food," he snapped. Fiona scoffed. "Why do you care so much? You're becoming soft over a maid." Grant ignored her tone and returned to the kitchen, handing Eden a proper meal himself. As Eden ate slowly, tears slipping down her cheeks, she whispered, "Thank you, sir." Grant smiled faintly. "You're stronger than most people I know." In that moment, as moonlight spilled through the window, something shifted in Eden's heart and in Grant's, but neither of them dared to speak it aloud. Not yet. For the first time since she entered Grant's house, Eden felt a crack of warmth. Grant had begun checking in on her more often, asking how her day went, even offering her a book from his shelf. Though he was always respectful, Eden could feel something unspoken stirring in the air whenever they spoke. But Fiona noticed the change too, and it made her furious. One afternoon, she summoned Eden to the living room with an unusually sweet voice. "Come, Eden," she said, patting the seat beside her. "Let's talk like sisters." Eden sat slowly, confused but curious. Fiona smiled too widely. "I know I've been a little hard on you," she began, "but I think we got off on the wrong foot. I want to start over. Forgive my past behavior." Eden nodded slowly, unsure. "Of course, Ma. I hold nothing against you." Fiona clapped her hands cheerfully. "Good. Now do one small thing for me. Make me a bowl of indomie. I'm craving it." Relieved, Eden rose to her feet. "Right away, Ma." She made the noodles carefully, adding onions, pepper, and a boiled egg just like she'd seen Fiona request before. But no sooner had Fiona taken a few bites than she stood abruptly, clutching her stomach. What did you put in this?" she screamed. Eden blinked in shock. "What do you mean? I just cooked it, I swear." Fiona shoved the bowl aside and began to wail. "She's trying to poison me! Grant! Grant!" Grant rushed in, alarmed. "What's going on?" Fiona pointed at Eden with trembling hands. "She's trying to kill me. I tasted something bitter. I saw her add something." Eden's hands trembled. "I swear I didn't," she cried. But as Grant looked between the two women, uncertainty clouded his face and Eden felt her world unravel all over again. Eden sat curled in a corner of the guest room, shaking uncontrollably. Her mouth felt dry and her stomach twisted with fear. The accusation was serious, and in a city like Lagos, such rumors could ruin a girl forever. Grant had driven Fiona to the hospital for a checkup, but not before giving Eden a long, unreadable look. When he returned that night, his expression was hard. "I need to see the security footage," he told his driver. "Tonight." Eden overheard the words from the kitchen, her heart thudding like a drum. The next morning, Grant called Eden to the living room. He looked her straight in the eyes, holding a tablet. "Come," he said. He tapped play on a video showing Fiona in the kitchen, alone, moments before Eden arrived. She could be seen sprinkling something into the noodles, then quickly hiding the packet in her robe. Eden gasped. She set me up?" Grant nodded slowly. "I'm sorry. I should have trusted you. I should have known." Eden's legs gave way beneath her, and she dropped to her knees in relief and disbelief. Grant didn't hesitate. He marched upstairs to confront Fiona. "Pack your things," he said coldly. "You're leaving today." "Grant, what are you saying? You believe that girl over me?" Fiona shrieked. "I saw the footage," he replied. "You nearly ruined her life." Her face crumbled. "You're choosing a maid over me," she spat. "I'm choosing honesty," Grant replied firmly. Fiona stormed out, her heels clicking like hammers on the tiled floor. Downstairs, Eden stood quietly, her hands clasped in front of her. Grant returned and looked at her, eyes softer now. "You're safe here, Eden," he said. "I promise you, no one will ever treat you that way again." Days passed, and peace finally settled over Grant's home like the gentle Lagos Harmattan breeze. Eden resumed her duties, but this time everything felt different. There was no yelling, no threats, no tension lurking around corners. Grant had become more present sometimes, sitting with Eden on the balcony, talking about books, music, and dreams. One quiet afternoon, he walked into the kitchen where she was washing dishes and said softly, "You once mentioned wanting to go back to school. Do you still want that?" Eden froze, the soapy sponge in her hand. "Yes, sir," she said, voice low, "but I don't know how." Grant smiled gently. "You leave that to me. I've already made some calls. You're enrolled in evening classes at Starlight Polytechnic. You'll have weekends free to study, and I'll handle the rest." Eden stared at him, eyes wide, heart racing. "Why are you doing all this for me?" she asked, tears forming. Grant's expression turned serious. "Because you deserve a better life. Because you remind me of everything good this world tries to hide." Later that evening, Eden stood in front of the mirror in her room, wearing the simple blue dress Grant had bought her weeks ago. The one Fiona burned had been replaced. It fit her perfectly now. As she smoothed the fabric, a knock came on her door. Grant stood there holding a small bouquet of yellow roses. "Eden," he said, voice steady, "I don't just want to help you. I want to be part of your story. I want to walk through life with you." Eden's breath caught in her throat. "You want me?" Grant stepped closer. "Yes, all of you, if you'll have me." And in that moment, the girl who once slept on concrete floors felt herself beginning to rise. Months later, the sun rose over a quiet garden in Lekki, where friends and family gathered beneath palm trees, wrapped in white ribbons. Eden stood at the altar wearing a cream lace gown, delicate but dignified, as the morning breeze lifted her veil. Her smile was shy, but her eyes held peace. Grant stood beside her, dapper in a navy blue suit, unable to take his eyes off her. The pastor spoke gently, but everyone could feel the weight of the journey that brought them here, from sidewalk to sanctuary, from rejection to celebration. As they exchanged vows, Eden's voice trembled. "You found me when I was invisible. You gave me a home when I had none. Today I give you my heart." Grant squeezed her hands, his voice low and steady. "You showed me what strength looks like in silence, what kindness looks like in chaos. I promise to always protect your light." When the congregation erupted in applause after their kiss, Eden couldn't help but cry, not out of sadness, but from the release of years of pain, swallowed and buried. Today she stood not as a servant, not as a victim, but as a woman reborn. Eden didn't stop at being a wife. With Grant's help, she launched the Dusk to Dawn Foundation, a nonprofit that helps street girls gain vocational training and shelter. She often stood before crowds sharing her story, reminding them that destiny doesn't always come with glitter. It often crawls out of the dirt, quiet and unnoticed. "I am living proof," she would say, "that the dust does not define you. Only your will to rise does." And when people asked Grant why he chose her, he would smile and say, "Because when the world turned its back, she still chose to love. And that love changed everything." What's your take? Eden's journey from the dusty streets of Lagos to the heart of a billionaire's home is more than a love story. It's a story of grit, grace, and divine timing. But now I want to hear from you. What did this story teach you about second chances, strength, and love? Would you have trusted Eden? Should Grant have fallen for her? What do you think about Fiona's downfall? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. Your voice matters. If this story moved you in any way, please don't keep it to yourself. Give it a thumbs up to show your support. Share with someone who needs a reminder that life can change at any moment. Subscribe so you don't miss the next powerful story coming your way. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay kind, stay brave, and never stop believing in your own rise from the dust.